Hello, how are you? What's up? Well, this is just another video to assist somebody in getting by with the IGCSE geography exam. Well, this is paper 2. Well, I believe the paper 1 was helpful. I did some permutations and I think it worked to an extent. So I'm doing another permutation here. So let's just look at this together. This is 2020 paper 2-3, October, November. I have the mass scheme here as well. So I will be going straight into the mass scheme. Just read the question, go straight to the mass scheme, and offer one or two explanations as per why do they have that answer. This is to make it fast. I don't want to make the video too long, so I'm looking for ways of making it not to be too long. So I'll be coming, just come from the question. I have the maps here too. So the first question here says you should locate feature A, B, C, D, E. Well, luckily, all of them are features except E, that says the name of the river. So for you to locate those features, you must know the 6 grid of them, or at least 4 grid. But in some cases, 6 grid will be needed. So for A, feature A, the 6 grid of A is 21, 8, 86, 7. 21, 8, this is 21 here, then moving 8, then 86, 7. So if I go into my map, what do I have at 21, 8, 86, 7? So this is 21 here. So let me scroll down. So 21, 8, 86, 7. So this is it. So we check the question. This is, let's go straight into the masking. So what is that? It's a motorway. So here is it. You can see this particular stuff is the same thing here. The same thing here. So if you check the masking, you can see, look at it here. Motorway. So I believe everybody will be able to do this part. So the B is 21, 1, 87, 5. 21, 1, 87, 5. So 21, 1, 87, 5. So look at it here. 21, 1, 87, 5. I think it should be this. Let me see it again. This particular line. So if you check it, it's a railway. So, okay, here is this particular line here. So if you check it, it's a railway. If you go into the key and check, so I run quickly for C. What is C? C is 19, 7, 86, 8. 19, 7, 86, 8. So 19, 7, 86, 8. 19, 7, 86, 8. What do we have here? So let me check the masking quickly. It is called funicular. Well, so let's see what that could be in the scheme. In the key. Funicular. Okay. This. So what could that be here? 21, 7, 86. Okay, so somewhere here. Okay. So let's just run. Feature D is 21, 8, 85, 5. Somebody might be wondering, where am I getting the numbers I'm calling? I believe you should know what 4 grid and 6 grid is all about as a candidate of this exam. So I'm not going to teach that. 21, 8, 85, 5. 21, 8, 85, 5. 21, 8, 21, 8, 85, 5. So around here. So what is that? Let me just check this thing. Lava flow. According to them. Okay, I think it's this particular area that is representing. So if you check it in the map, I think it's this thing, this brown color. And look at it here, this lava flow. Okay, so the last one, E, the name of the river E. So this river is found in 2187. So let me go to 2187 quickly and look for that river there. 2187. This is 2187. This is it. So what is the name? You have to trace it until you can see a name on it. Just keep tracing, 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 tracing it, tracing, tracing. So I think it's found here. It's somewhere is hidden. TS Venera. So that's the answer. TS Venera. Using the map key, identify one tourist activity available within 2 kilometers of the main settlement of Taormina. So you should, with your knowledge of scale, 2 kilometers within the, so this is Taormina here. So 2 kilometers of it. What are the likely activities? There are plenty. So you have to check what you can see here and go into the key to know what that is. But meanwhile, let me just make it fast. Okay. Nature reserve, dive sites, climbing, hanging, climbing, mountain bike. So you know, just look around there. I think most of them have to do with mountaineering, since the place is a highland. You know, the price of lava flow has built some mountains. So things that have to do with mountains are the likely activities there. So just look into the map closely and look for one. Okay, this is a cross section. Actually, I've joined this before. That's why you are seeing it joined. But let me clean it so that I can just do it afresh. I've used this with somebody. That's why it's joining. So let me clean it. These are the questions. So they expect you to identify X. You know, you need to know where these 2 points are. Like this is 1809990. It's a point, and 220990. 2 of them are points on the map. So go to the map and locate 1809990. As you can see, I drew line on it already. Like I said, I used to with someone now. So just trace it. 18090. So 18090 is this point, and 22090 is there. So this is the line where the cross section was drawn. So how do you now do it? Checking here, X, first and foremost, locate the height. What could be the height of this place? If you check it, this is like 100 meters above sea level, this point here. You don't need to be tracing because these are 1 mark question. You just do your estimation. You need to strive for accuracy. So this is like 100. So come here And again, look at this. Look at this distance from here. This is more than half. This position is more than half of this. So the two information you need now is that that spot is roughly 100 meters above sea level and is more than half to the left. So it should be somewhere around here. So you need to look closely and locate. So it should be somewhere around here. So what is the question again? The question says identify feature X. So looking around here, what could it be? Or could it be this line? So let me check. Let me just, to make it fast, a railway. So let's see how it is a railway. This line, like I said, that this is 100 meters contour line here. So definitely it's around here, and this is more than half. Is more than half. Like this is half. So that place is somewhere around within here. So let's go and check the symbol for railway in the key. Railway. So look at it, this, and that is exactly what you have there. This line here. So this is it. So that one is railway. That's how they got railway. I believe you understand. Students always complain that this cross section is more difficult than the one they actually were taught in class. You are not drawing it, but with an understanding of how it was done, you can actually get your answer. So this is a railway. Then use figure 1 to label arrow to show position of the settlement of Gagi. So we're expected to locate a settlement called Gagi. So along this line, okay, this is Gagi. You can see this is Gagi here. So Gagi is somewhere around here. So Gagi is like found around 1/3. 1/3. This is, from here to here is 1/2, 3/4. I mean, this is 1/4, half, 3/4, then a whole. So after 1/4, you have Gagi around this place. So if you are with that estimation, and just come here. So you might just quickly get a ruler to measure from here to here. But if you don't want to do that, just know that it will be somewhere around here. It will be somewhere around here. And so you just draw let me use my Zoom app to do that. So just so Gagi should be somewhere around there. Then you label it Gagi. So just write. This will disappear now once I leave here. Gagi. So that's what they want you to do. Then it will move now once I scroll down. So I believe you already have the answer. Then the cross section shown in figure 1.2 is incomplete. Use the information on the map to complete it. So they want you to complete here. So you will go back into your map and look at the line. So if you look at it very well, in this case now, what you need is just to know what is the end point. So this contour line, the last contour line here, you need to locate it, what the value is. And I checked it earlier. It could be a bit difficult. You just have to trace. And in case you might use contour interval. If you know what the contour interval is, go to the last, look at it here. The contour interval is 50 meters. So with that, you can add or subtract to get the actual contour line. So if you locate anyone, these are spot height. This 380 is a spot height. 351, those are spot height. Now look at this is 250. So you might have to trace this 250, trace it.
Okay, so now this, look at it here. This one is 250. So for you to now know whether you are adding or subtracting, you have to look for another contour line with a number. That will now help you to know whether it's addition or subtraction. So I think I have 100 here. So that means this is, let me see, 100, 150, 200, 250. So it's correct. So this will be, but in some cases, this continues. This particular one, let me trace it and see whether it's going to give me a value. Follow my cursor. This will be a bit difficult, but just try to trace it. I think it's 200. Okay. See, look at it here. So it's the next to this. So it's 200. So this line here is 200. So since I know that this line is 200, how do I now join it? Just come here and make sure it doesn't go below 200. This is 200 meters above sea level. Make sure it doesn't go below 200. You know, if you check the answer, you will see that in the answer they wrote, let me see, position of, okay, this is the answer of Gagi. Session completed with land rising in the east, but not dropping below 200 meters. You see that? So it is, don't let it go below 200. That's the most important thing. You know, it's rising here, but it must not, once it goes lower than 200, you have missed that mark. So what they want to see here is whether you can actually locate how that thing was done, whether you understand everything there. So let me clear this Gagi thing here. So now, what is this along the coastline from the end of Capo Terminal to the south edge? Now, how would you do this? You just have to measure. This is where you need, the question says along the coastline. So it's not a straight line distance. It's an irregular distance. So you need a thread to measure it. Where is Cow Terminal? You just have to locate Cow Terminal first. And you now use a thread to measure. The question says, let me zoom out. Let's take the question again. Say from Capo, along the coastline, from the end of Capo Terminal to the south edge. South edge. Let me scroll it. Okay. Okay, so this is Capo Terminal here. I believe you can see it. To the south edge. So maybe I think they want us to measure from here to the south edge. They didn't specify exact spot. So you have to get your thread and just place it along this and measure, you know, along the coastline to the south edge. I think to this last point. So let me check the answer is 8,500 meters. So quickly, I think what you would do is once you have measured, let's say you measured it, you put your thread on it, you put your thread so if you measure, by the time you are done with your thread, you can place your thread on a ruler and just measure what you have. So After that, you can just work out. For example, now, this 8,500 meters, that is the answer. Let me just do let me look at the scale. The scale here is 1:50,000. So that means for them to get that, let me just do a rough calculation here. So now, what it means is that 1/50,000 multiply or not is equal to map distance. Map distance in this case, we don't know, x over 8,500 meters. And that the answer is in meters. So let me put M because the scale is in centimeter. So you cross multiply. I believe everybody knows this mass. So if you cross multiply, you have 8,500 over 50,000. Now, don't forget that 8,500 is a meter. So bring it to centimeters. This will be 8,500 and 100 again over 50,000. So by the time you take out all the zeros, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 85 over 5. So if you divide this, what will you get? 5 in 8, 1. 5 in 35. That's 7. So the answer is 17 centimeter. So the map distance here is 17 centimeters. That means when if you use your thread, you should get something within the range of 17 centimeter. That's why your answer can be 8,500. Because, for example, now if it's 17 centimeter, let me just do it in reverse. That's 17 multiplied by the scale, which is 50,000. And this one will give you, this will give you 5 times 17, 850. So this is the answer in centimeter. So if you divide it by 100, you will leave your answers to 8,500 meters. I hope this calculation has not confused anybody. So that is how they arrive at that. So when you are done measuring, you can just measure it. Or another alternative way is that you just, let's say you use a paper. There are 3 ways. You can use a compass, a divider, sorry. I believe you know what a divider is. That I don't have it here now. The pointer in the market, that sharp edge, that is like a compass. It's a divider. So get it to a radius of 1 centimeter and you place it along where you are asked to measure. So if it is on a radius of 1 centimeter, as you are moving it, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll be measuring like that. Or you use a straight edge of a paper. I believe you've been taught all of this. So you should know what to do. So when you measure, if it is a paper you use, you can bring your paper to this scale here, this linear scale, and start from here. If you place it, this will give you from here. You just place it and mark out. Okay, so let's move on quickly. What is the compass bearing from the end of Cow Terminal to the coastline at the southern edge? So this should be straightforward, I believe. Let me clean this so that it's not confusing somebody. Now, this is Cow Terminal.
to the southern edge. So the question says, let me read it again. Compass bearing from, so we are coming from here. So how do you do that? You first join it with a line. So just join with a straight line to the southern edge. So that is it then. Do a 4 cardinal. Just, these are not something you have to be very accurate, or just do something good enough for you to get what you want to get. Even for someone else, this cursor is enough to do to get the right, to get your answer. But for some other people, maybe you might need to just do. So let me use a simple, so that it doesn't cause a. So this is what I want to draw. I want to draw. I believe you know what this is. For cardinal points. It's not well drawn. So I will now measure from here. Now, from here to here is 180. From here to this point here. From here to this point is 180. So 180 plus, if you understand quadrants, first quadrants, here to here is 90, here to here is 180, here to here is 270, then here to here is 360. So they've already given you 4 answers. Just pick one from it. And if you look at the answers, all the answers are distance. They are not together. What I mean is they are in different quadrants. This one is the first quadrant. This one is the first quadrant. Oh, they are. So the answer is between 221 or 225. But that means you have to measure. So you have to use your protractor because the answers are close. Assuming they are not close, you can just quickly, assuming this is 350 something, you will just know that the answer is 221. These two are they are in third quadrants. So as it is now, the answer is between them, but you need to be very sure. So you need to draw an accurate diagram, an accurate of what I've just done. Then you have to measure. From here to here is 180. So from here to here will be like maybe 50 something. If you add it to 180, or 40 something. So that will give you. So let me check what the answer is. The answer is 221 degrees. So you have to be accurate about that. But I believe with what I did, you know what to do. Okay, so now let me run. Now this question, I want you to compare these two areas. So they've given you boxes. So I believe we all know how to do this. So just, I want to move this. So between 22 to 25, 35 to 88, 25 to 28, then 93 to 96. So you locate the two places here. Then you look closely, what are the things there that, if you look at the question, one is area P, the other is area Q. So are there flat land there? So you look anything less than 300 meters, you check if it's there. I know because of time, I won't be doing that. Land over 500 meters. If it is anything more than 500 meters between this area and this area, a national main road, and all of that. So if you check, let me check, you will see that in the answer, look at it. These are so this is only here. If you have it only in the area P, you mark here. If you have it only in area Q, you mark here. If two of them have it, you mark here. And if neither of them have it, you mark here. So just once you know how to do your grid, that will guide you. Okay.
Now, show an area in the northwest of the map extract. They want you to describe the relief. Now, a relief is the landform, the elevation. You know, when we talk relief, they want you to talk about whether the place is hilly or is flat. Is the place rugged, as in a lot of mountains that are rugged? That's what they also call topography. Or the place is a smooth, flat land. So then, what is the highest elevation there? What is the particular kind of slope that you have there? Is it convex or concave? So under relief, you talk about, is it convex or concave? If the slope, you know, with your knowledge of cross section, if the slope looks like this, you know that this one is convex. And if it looks like this, that's concave. So how do you know if it's like, you just how do a study? So let me just try and do some. So 92, 18 to 21, then 92 to 96, 1892. So 1892. So it's actually from here. 18 to 20 what? So this is the area. I think oh, if it is 22, I can't see it here, like, so I'm just assuming somewhere around here. So what can you say about the relief? Well, I can say that it is hilly. Let me zoom it so that I can see. Oh, okay. So this region, let me take this square away so that doesn't confuse somebody. So from here, you can see that it's a hilly area. It is highly, you can say it's hilly, slopey, lot of, you know, is mountainous. Then you can talk about the spot height. I think the highest elevation here is about 9. This is 953. Let me zoom it further. So I can see that very hilly. That's one mark for you. The spot height there is about 953. Just quote some spot height. The presence of, you know, because there are rivers here, so it's also a valley. You can talk about valleys. For rivers to be there, that means it has valley. So a spur, that's a spur there, a ridge. Let me check this to make that fast. So it's hilly. You can see that if you mention hills, hilly, mountainous, valley, V-shaped. Yes. Why is it V-shaped? Because as you can see, for it to be a highland, that means it's found at the upper stage of a river. And at the upper stage of a river, you have presence of, you know, V-shaped valley. So since there's a river here, so this is a V-shaped valley. So that's another one mark for you. There is a valley. You mentioned that there is a hilly. It's hilly. That's, you mentioned 3. Then what else can you mention there? You know, like I said, quote the highest elevation. So if you mention 880, they will give you, I say about 953 meters. So what this means is not, I mean, it's around here, not necessarily 900. So above 900. So any of these, they will mark it for you. Then higher in the northwest, lower in the south. How would you know that? This is the northwest here, and this is the south. So you don't have to measure everything there. It's a 4 mark. Let me see how many marks. It's either a 4 or 5 marks. So if you mention, just mention like 6, 7 things. Yeah, 6 things is hilly, mountainous. Mention the elevation that you see there, a spot height of about 953 meters, valley, because of the rivers you see there, the presence of V-shaped valley, then higher in the north, lower in the south, the highest point is found in the northwest, all of that. So that is it. I believe I've been able to do some justice to map skills. So let me quickly rush this. I'll quickly rush this. Some countries shown have growth rate of less than 0. How does this affect total population? It doesn't affect it. If it is less than 0, the population remains the same. That's 1 mark. What growth rate of less than 0 means is that you birth rate equals death rate, so no difference. Using figure 2.1, describe distribution of countries with growth rate less than 0. So if you look at it, less than 0. Wait, sorry, does the question says, oh, I'm sorry, some countries have growth rate of less than 0, not 0. Oh, less than 0 means it's negative. So they have a negative growth rate. In that case, it means that death rate is higher than birth rate. So their population is declining. Or immigration is higher than immigration. So the population declines. So the answer here is that the population declines. The population reduces because death or immigration is higher than immigration or birth. So using figure 2.1, describe the distribution of countries with it. Less than 0, look at it here. So I think basically around Russia, less than 0 then. This kind of question, they want to test your knowledge of continents and regions. So mention that this is Russia so that they can know that you know that this is Russia. So this is like 1 mark for you. Where else can we find it? Less than 0. No, nowhere else. I think it's basically around Russia. Let me check the Asia, Russia, Eurasia, Eastern Europe in the north, northeast of Africa, northeast Asia. Okay, so using describe it. Okay, I've done. Using figure 2.1, describe the distribution of population growth rate in Africa. Do not use figures in your answer. Okay, so they just want you to say what is the distribution of growth rate in Africa. Oh, sorry. So how can you describe the growth rate in Africa? We can talk about countries like Niger has growth rate of 3% and over. Countries like Niger, Mali, and which country is this? They can also talk about that most countries have most. I think which one is most? Like this sign. This is the most. So most countries have between 2 to 2.99. So most countries in Africa have between 2 to 2.99. Why some few countries like Niger. If you know this country, you mention it. This which country is here? I can't remember this. But if you mention country like they will give you, because that means you know this is Niger, this is Niger here. But most countries have that's another one mark. Then talk about these ones too. That's between 1 to 199, found in mainly Northern Africa. You can look at it here. This is Egypt, and this is Algeria here. And maybe this Libya, Morocco is here. So all these countries too, they share it, with the exception of this one. I think this should be Algeria. So find 3 things to say, just the way I've said it now, and you'll be fine. Higher in the center, nearer to the equator tropics, lower in the north-south, slightly lower along the equator. Well, this is talking, well, if you mention the countries too, you'll be fine. It's talking about places with highest. So higher in the center, and most of those countries are around the center. Slightly lower along the equator, lowest in the north. Yes, it's the same thing that I said. Country will be 0 to, okay, they don't want you to put statistics, just describe. So lowest in the north, in the middle here is higher, and towards the south too is reducing. Okay. Using figure 2.1, describe this. Okay, that's what I just did. Calculate the birth rate of Angola. This is easy. Calculate the birth. So we know that growth rate is, death rate minus this will give you growth rate. So in this case now, if this minus this gives you this, so what should be here? That will give you this. So for you to know that, just add this to this. 35 plus 9, which is 44. So your answer is 44 for these 2 marks. If you're able to work it like that, you'll be fine. Okay. Figure 3.1 and 3.2 shows 2 rivers. Let me see, do I have the insert here? I think I need to quickly download it. Okay, so I have it now. Figure 3.1, name the process of river transport shown and describe the material being transported as the river's loads. So let's go back. We want to talk about the process of transportation and the river's load. Okay, for 3.1, the process of this is because these are like boulders. These are large rock materials. So process of transportation here will be traction. Why the loads are boulders, large rocks like this. But there are some pebbles here too. And for pebbles, that will be suspension. For pebbles, that will be suspension. But for the large rock materials, you can see the traction, bed load, rolling, rocks, boulders, stones, suspension, mud, clay, fine sediment. So I believe that is clear to somebody. So for figure 3.2, okay, is that the only question for that? Let me move on quickly. So yeah, which part of the river? Okay, for 3 points. Okay, 3.2 points. Oh, okay. So this one that was showing bridge. Okay, this is the river. For this river now, you can see that the color is brown. So this is suspension. This one is called suspension. You know, fine particles like sand, silt are suspended in the river. That's why it's colored brown. So the answer to that is suspension. Okay. Oh. So it's just 1 mark. For this one, mention traction because traction is the most obvious one there. Why for this other one too? Mention suspension is the most obvious. You just wanted to mention the obvious one. Suggest which part of the river course is shown in figure 3.2. Either is it upper, is it middle, is it lower? That's what the question is. I think this one here should be lower stage. It should be lower or middle, lower or middle stage. Because as you can see, it's already having some deposits. So I think it's lower stage. I go for lower stage. See, they're even allowing you to pick either lower or middle as your answer. Because the two of them have the same tendencies for it. So suggestion, okay, so explain how meanders are formed. Well, meanders are formed as the river flows. Let me just get a picture quickly. So the river, the river is now becoming sluggish. It cannot flow straight again. So it encounters bends and just want to bring up an image to aid my explanation. So basically, the river is flowing. Now look at it, the river is flowing, but because of the sluggishness of the river at this point, so it can't flow straight. So when it encounters a hard ground, it shifts, it bends. So it flows and bends like that. That is meander. But after some time, you see that the meander, so this part that it is touching begins to erode and becomes a river cliff, while some deposits are taking place at the other side, and that is the slip-off slope. So it will continue like that. You can see it clearly here. I'm looking for, let me see the one that can. This one has led to Oscar Lake already. So let me go continue. So they just wanted to talk about how it is formed. So the outer part is eroded, while the inner part, deposition takes place there. So that continues and brings erosion from the outer part, which is the river cliff, while deposition takes place at the inner part. So helicoidal flow, faster flow on the outer side, concave, slower flow on the inner side, erosion on the outer, deposition on the inside. Meander grows, neck thins. So it breaks and it becomes Osborne Lake. Okay. Well, this is already getting to an hour. I don't plan to make it such. Figure 4.1 gives information about the eruption of Mount Tabora. Sorry, I will stop. Let me break this into two. I will make it 2 videos. So thanks for following.